Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be comparing the DLQ with the LOCUS. Now just keep in mind that this comparison video is going to be between two loadouts of these guns. Now the reason I don't use the base version to test stats and that type of stuff is because it gives an inaccurate representation of what the gun will be like inside of the game. Once you put on the attachments, for example, one gun could seem better with base and one gun could seem better once you put the attachments on, so you never really know. And what I've done here is I've basically got the loadouts used by literally everyone in ranked and literally everyone in the pro scene for both of these guns. So obviously this is going to be a majority view. Some people might use attachments that differ from these, but I can argue why these attachments are definitely best for these two guns. And yeah, if you want to see why these attachments are the best, just stick around till the end of the video. The format for this video is basically first of all, we're going to be taking a look at the statistics of the gun, which I have tested all by myself. Second of all, we're going to be taking a look at what I think of the gun, the feels of the guns, and ultimately what I think the better gun is and my justification for that. And finally, we're going to be taking out the loadouts and my justification for those attachments. But just before we get into the video, I'd like to give a massive shout out to Reaper SR, who actually made the thumbnail for this video. Make sure to check out his socials. I'll probably link it somewhere if he has any. But yeah, let's just get into the video. Alright, so the very first stat we're going to be testing is movement speed. So when you're not scoped in how fast you're moving, I've got both of them lined up frame for frame, moving in the exact same direction. As you can see, the LOCUS makes it a little bit earlier, but to be honest, it's basically the same. Next is fire rate. As you can see, the LOCUS definitely has a faster fire rate. Keep in mind that I do all these comparisons frame by frame, so there's literally no error. Over here, we've got reload speed, and it seems like the LOCUS is a little bit faster. Over here, we've got sway. So as you can see on the DLQ, you're going from the top left to the bottom right. Pretty consistent. I think it's pretty controllable, to be honest, but you don't really hardscope that much these days anyway. And here we've got the LOCUS, the complete opposite of the DLQ, going from the bottom left to the top right. So, it really depends what you prefer, but honestly, as I said before, you're not going to be hardscoping it that much these days. All right, so taking a look at flinch here, this is the DLQ. So getting shot, there's a little bit of flinch. Keep in mind I have toughness on this class, so it's not going to be as much as the base version. And this is the LOCUS over here. As you can see, they're pretty much the same. You could argue the DLQ has a little bit less, but honestly, the flinch with toughness on, which you should always have on a sniper these days, is basically the same. Now, next is ADS speed. As you can see, frame by frame, and it seems that as if the LOCUS takes the win there. All right, next we're going to be taking a look at the damage of multipliers. So this is the DLQ around the legs, all 90, so that's all hit markers on the nutsack there. We got 135, so that's one tap around here. We'll just see how low it goes. So okay, that's one shot though. Trying to pinpoint an exact position. That's one shot. Get a bit lower. Okay, that's still one shot. Okay, so I think it's around that first little stripe there, just above the torso. Yeah, so around there. Okay, that's pretty good. So yeah, just below it, and then you get hit marker. But just here, I don't know if I can line it up. Anyways, we'll go headshot. Yep, 162, one shot, obviously. We'll test the arms as well. So hands, 135, yeah. So everything's basically one shot above that little first line there. And if we take a look at the LOCUS, 95. So more damage on the lower body. Keep in mind, this has no stopping power. Okay, so the DLQ would normally one shot around that area. Moving up. Oh, still no one shot. Go up a little bit more. No one shot as well. No one shot. Oh, okay, so that little crevice just sort of around the rib cage. Yeah, that's if you can go up a little bit. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's the one-shot area. Hands and arms are all one-shot. Alright, so as you could see from these stats there, it seems that the LOCUS is basically better than the DLQ in almost every single category except for the hitbox. Now, obviously, you could improve that with stopping power, but as soon as you put stopping power the LOCUS, the DLQ becomes better than it at literally everything. So I don't recommend using stopping power on the LOCUS anymore. It's just not as good, and since you want to be getting as fast ADS speeds as you can nowadays with this crazy SMG meta, I just highly recommend to not use stopping power. But yeah, as you can see, the DLQ is definitely a bit more of a reliable weapon, and a weapon that will get you less hit markers. Now, in game modes such as Search and Destroy, this will be extremely, extremely important. You don't want to be getting hit markers in Search and Destroy. That just isn't it. However, when it comes to respawns, in my opinion, I think the LOCUS is much better. The movement feels cleaner, the ADS speed is faster, the fire rate is faster, the reload speed is faster. Basically, everything about the LOCUS is faster in terms of movement, frame for frame. So if you're looking to play fast, if you're looking to play aggressive, I definitely recommend using the LOCUS. However, if you want to take it a bit more chill, if you want to camp back a little bit, you're playing S&D, you're covering angles, or you're in a scrim and something like that, and you just don't want to risk it, you don't want to play aggressive with your sniper, then I think DLQ would be the better option, simply just because it is more reliable. Now, if you put stopping power on a LOCUS and be like, Cycron, I can just use LOCUS with stopping power. What's stopping me from doing that? Well, if you're going to use stopping power on a LOCUS, you might as well just use DLQ. So, I don't know, you can do whatever you like there, but I think these guns both have their own strengths. But overall out of both of these guns, I think I would have to give it to the LOCUS. It is a pretty close battle, but I think I'll have to give it to the LOCUS. Now, hear me out. You'll be like, oh, Cycron, LOCUS gets more hit markers. Well, here's the thing. The one thing that is often not recognized about guns in this game, in terms of stat testing, is the feel of the gun. And the feel of a gun plays a huge role in how you perceive that weapon. Now, for example, in the pro scene, you know, for a default Holger, for example, not many people in ranked as well and in pro scene, and people all in my comment section are like, Cycron, the Holger doesn't feel good at all. Why is it so high on Ferg and Bobby's list? Now, the reason the Holger doesn't feel as good as the stats might say is because the iron sight and the general feel of the gun is just not there. You know, there are so many factors that play into the feel of the gun, but I definitely, for the Holger, it's definitely going to be like Sprinter Fire and like iron sights. Like, it just makes the gun feel so much worse than it actually is. And people like Bobby and Ferg, they're using the Holger with the mythic skin, which definitely just gets rid of the bad iron sight. So that's why they perceive that gun to be better, while the majority of players who don't have the mythic skin might not. So you can sort of see what I'm getting at here. The feel of a gun plays a major role in how that gun affects your gameplay. So in my personal opinion, the DLQ just feels slower. It feels more clanky. It doesn't feel as smooth, as fast, as efficient as a LOCUS. And that is the feeling of many players inside of the game right now. And that is why the LOCUS is being used a lot more currently than the DLQ, especially in World Champs right now. Like, I'm seeing way more LOCUS than I'm seeing DLQ. It at the end of the day, it really comes down to the feeling of the gun. And the thing is, the majority of players feel that the LOCUS is a little bit better, and it is statistically, in some aspects, better. However, I know there will be still a lot of people out there who enjoy the feeling of the DLQ more. They like the more reliable, the sort of circular sort of feeling. It's really hard to explain. The LOCUS always feels like kind of squarey, you know, but the DLQ feels like circly. I don't know, spherical. It's hard to explain. You sort of have to use these guns to understand the feeling of them. But At the end of the day, it comes down to your personal feeling of these weapons. And in my personal feeling, I just feel like the LOCUS is, I think it's just much better. And, you know, you can feel free to disagree with me in the comment section, but I think the majority of people will agree with me that the LOCUS, in terms of feeling and in terms of movement statistics, is the better sniper. And honestly, to get rid of the hit marker issue, just aim a little bit higher. Alright, yeah. Let's just go ahead and get into the attachments. Alright, so for the LOCUS, I've got a YKM lightweight short, ADS speed, movement speed, and ADS movement speed. I don't see why you want to use like any other of these attachments. I mean, sure, you can be a hard scoper. Yeah, the damage at range is literally not going to do anything. Horizontal recoil, vertical recoil, like come on, man. Who's using those unless it's for BR? Like, dude. And this is just even more useless. Over here, we got a skeleton stock, which was actually buffed in the recent update. Just don't even worry about all the downsides on the left. What you're looking at here for every single sniper is literally just ADS speed. It is the most important aspect of a sniper. That's just an irrefutable fact. ADS speed is the most important. Like, ask any sniper inside of the game, any pro sniper, they'll tell you that. Over here we got FMJ. My bad. This is just for wallbanging. Now, in scrims and stuff, this is very, very important if you're a main sniper. You want to put on FMJ so you can, you know, shoot through a lot of walls. Now, in commonly, you know, use scrim maps such as standoff and fire range. Literally all of the walls are wallbangable. So yeah, just to, you know, make use of that and chuck on an FMJ. I don't know why I'm having trouble pronouncing that. Over here we got a OWC laser tactical, obviously just for the ADS speed. And finally got a stipple grip tape again for the ADS speed. For the rest of the loadout, we've got an MW11. It's really good just to finish off your opponents if you get a hit marker, and just like to equip it to run around a little bit faster. We got an Annihilator, Thermite, Trophy System, Lightweight, Toughness. Now, I was actually using this perk when testing the flinch on both the weapons. And what this does is it reduces the flinch while being shot by 60%. If you don't use this perk on a sniper, hard scoping becomes almost impossible. And not even hard scoping sometimes. Sometimes if you're like quick scoping and someone's shooting you while you're scoping in, it just flicks your screen up and it's honestly annoying. So toughness is a must for sniper classes. And then finally, we've got Hardline, but honestly, you could use anything you want here. It doesn't really matter. Alright, so for our DLQ, we've got an OWC Light Suppressor. Don't worry about the damage at range reduction. It literally does nothing to the gun. Now, if you want to swap this out for a Scrim, I'd probably take off the Extended Mag 8, and I'd put it on for an I can't pronounce this bloody attachment, FMJ, for bullet penetration. Yeah, as I said before, literally everything's wallbangable on the popular scrim maps, so yep. Over here, MIP Light, 80 speed, yeah, literally just for the 80 speed. YKM Combat Stock for the 80 speed once again. OWC Laser Tactical for 80 speed. And yeah, Extended Mag A if you're playing respawns, but S&D and that type of stuff. Oh my god, I literally can't pronounce this, bro. FMJ, yeah. I'm so used to saying FHJ. It just, oh my god. Anyways, rest of the loadout, basically you got the same things except for a heartbeat sensor because I was playing S&D. If you're using heartbeat sensor, playing S&D, you probably want to be using Dead Silence as well, or Shrapnel if you're good with your thermites or grenades or anything you want. But yeah, that's basically going to be it for the video. As I said before, if you want to be using stopping power on the LOCUS, like stopping power over here, look at that, bro. Like fire interval goes down, and previously LOCUS had better fire interval than the DLQ. Now the DLQ is a better fire interval. So okay, so you get around the same hit marker like spread, I guess. I'm not really sure about that. 80 speed reduction, which means that the DLQ will have a faster 80 speed. Reload speed reduction, which means that the DLQ will have a faster reload speed. So by putting on OWC stopping power, you're essentially making the LOCUS a worse version of the DLQ, which is like really, really stupid at this point. So just don't use stopping power. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I thought it was pretty in-depth. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.